Hi there, David. Check this out. I'm at the site. I'm looking at everything here, and I wanted to show you something really quick to maybe bounce this off the top of your head. Um, what's happening here is, okay, I can see here, what that this is showing up kind of, small. I mean, even the placeholder or the header placeholder is showing up small. Um, this here on top, where it's IMLSP, this is the admin block or navigation, whatever you want to call it. That's what it is. Down here, this is also a block that is appearing just fine. Now, what's interesting is that in the CSS, we have the left sidebar. That's what this column is over here on the left. This is the left sidebar. And we have that, see, it's identified right there. In the CSS, it gives us the parameters to adjust all of this, blocks, everything like that. So I'm a little bit stumped, so just wanted to let you know that this is what's going on. Now, this is a fix that I can propose. The thing is that this little block right here uses what's called a mini panel, and I've done just a numerous amount of searches and things like that throughout the site, and I found that it's associated with something that's called UView, and that particular view is not allowing me to adjust font size or anything like that. Views basically just kind of control what is actually in here. So, it gives me a header, I can put an image in there, and etc., etc. Now, what I can do ultimately, because mini panels, it's kind of redundant that it's an actual module, because the views panel actually can do the same thing. That's called a block. Now, what I can do is I can hard code HTML with this image, place that HTML into a block, and have that block appear all the way through the entire site as a quote-unquote mini panel. That will at least default it back to this, because that's what this is. It's just a block. It's something basic, because this remains static. It's not part of the rotor. It doesn't change. It stays there. And so basically, with looking at this and knowing that this block is fine and this one isn't, there's something else going on in the core of this site, yet that's going to be a time consumer to try to figure out what that is. So just to get this thing to look right on the front end, we can fudge it. And because I've run a series of searches on the CSS and everything else, the only thing that I've found is a UView association within the SQL, which is right here, if you can see this. And this is an actual SQL file, so this is actually controlled by the database. Now, with that said, could this mean there's an issue with the database? It's possible. Okay, now I'm not exactly sure, if that's possible, that we can get in there and change the SQL. I mean, we would have to run kind of a, check the database to see if everything's running fine, and if worse comes to worse, tourniquet all the tables, and basically kind of, it's basically the equivalent to basically giving, the database a jump start, back up, clear, all right. Now this thing is back up and ticking. Or I guess a better way to really say it would be to just, a hard restart might kick it back into gear. Because, with that said, looking at all this stuff here, it's not appearing the way it's supposed to be. So, and, I've done the search, and as you can see down here where my mouse is moving around, it's all SQL, SQL, SQL. That UView body, block, 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 everything is showing up in. So this, it seems to me that this UView is, and mini panels is being controlled mainly by the database, whereas that's a little bit redundant. We're putting too much load on the database. Could be one of the reasons why we're experiencing a little bit of site hang when we're loading, is we don't necessarily need that. And what I mean by this is that this isn't anything really special. All it does is it just links to one page. It's not like it plays video. It's not like it does anything. It's a static link in a side column. That, there's too much going on here. It's unnecessary. So with that said, and taking a closer look at what's going on at that, I mean, that's what we have. I've gone through the CSS, I've done searches on the mini panel, I've done searches on the sidebar, everything. I've even modified some of the CSS, re-uploaded it, refreshed the server, did everything like that, refreshed, and it's still looking the same way. So ultimately what I did was I put the CSS changes back to what they were previously and just uploaded and refreshed all the code. So that way I put the changes back, in other words, because that obviously wasn't what was affecting it. So that this is going to take some serious troubleshooting, or we can merely get rid of mini panels because this is the only piece of information that uses it, and it really doesn't need to have this third-party module happening for just this type of a load that just goes into this particular static page. It's redundant. So with that said, let me know your thoughts on that one, and any ideas. I've searched through the CSS. I've even I've changed the sidebar the font size with no avail. And I've tried a few different sizes, and done the refresh. The issue that I was running into with the header, why the CSS holds weren't taking. I've gone through that process a few times to see if this thing would work, and it's just not holding. So get back to me on that. I'm also going to correspond an email with what I just explained, so that way you have kind of a visual and a written. Anyways, it's my small window here that I had to work on things is coming to a close here, so I got to start to pack up shop. And about the banner, that is explained in the email, and that's coming along. It's getting there. It's taking a minute, but just read the email and you'll know what's happening. Anyways, sorry for the holdup, but this is where it's at and moving forward. Hope to talk to you soon, buddy. Bye.